Good afternoon, everyone. So, in the previous session, we have discussed about the, I think in the yesterday's session only, we have discussed about the XY component method for the vector addition. This one, method of component or XY component method, right? And then we have solved three numericals based on the vector addition. Okay. First numerical we have solved by using parallelogram as well as by using the method of component, and the rest of two numericals we have solved by using the uh, XY component method or method of component, right? And in this two numerical, the difference is here one vector is given in terms of cosine, so that we have to convert into the sine before we are going to uh, draw the vectors. Okay, and in the second one, all the vectors, all the equations are given in terms of sine only, so no need to convert it into the cosine, and directly in this case directly you can draw the vectors, find the all x component and all y component, then do the algebraic sum in order to find the resultant, right? See, all x components are added, all y components are added, and then square root of s square plus y square will give you the resultant, and tan inverse y by x will give you the phase angle for the same. Now, today we will see one small topic, that instead of addition, if it is asked for the subtraction of alternating quantity, then how you can do. Again, we are using the same method by using for the subtraction, either it is method of component or it is parallelogram. But the difference is what means process or how to apply the subtraction over here. If difference of two phasor is required or subtraction of two phasors is required, then one of the phasor is reversed, and then this reverse phasor is compounded with other phasor. Okay, for example, if you see this first figure where we have two vectors, one vector is vector OA and second one is vector OB. So you can see vector OB is, this vector OB is leading by angle theta with respect to vector OA, and I have to do the subtraction of these two vectors. So as per this line, you can see if you require the difference or subtraction of two vectors, then one of the phasor is reversed. For example, in figure 2, we are what we are doing, this OB vector, see OA is as it is, OA is as it is, and I'm taking the reverse of OB, reverse of OB. So just taking it on 180 degree with the same magnitude and reverse direction. Okay, so this will be minus OB. This is what? Minus OB. And now you apply the parallelogram method. You already know how to apply the parallelogram. Just take the minus OB's parallel vector with the same magnitude and put it on the head of OA. Similarly, take the image of OA and put it on the head of OB. Okay, and then you can find the resultant. So this OC will be the resultant. This will be the resultant. Okay. One more thing you can see over here, that here it is written that one of the phasor is reverse. Okay. So here in this case, I have just taken the reverse of OB. But if you see the figure number 3, you see the figure number 3, in that what OB will remain same. See, this OB will remain same, but I'm taking the reverse vector of OA. So this is reversed with the same magnitude. So it will be minus OA minus OA, and then apply the parallelogram method, or you can apply the that method of component in order to find the resultant. Okay, so in both the case, in figure number 2 and in figure number 3, OC will give you the resultant vector. In one case I am doing the reverse of OB, in another case I am doing the reverse of OA. Otherwise the method of application is same, only you have to take one of the vector in the reverse direction, that's it. So subtraction is also very easy. So here it is, the description is given that consider two phasors OA and OB, which is representing two alternating quantities of the same kind. The phasor OB leads the phasor OA by an angle theta, just like you can see in figure number 1. If it is required to subtract phasor OB from OA, if you are going to subtract OB from OA, then you can take a reverse of OB, then OB is reversed and is compounded with OA, either by using parallelogram method or XY component method. And this phasor difference OA minus OB is nothing but OC, that is your resultant. Similarly, in figure 3, phasor OC represents the phase difference of OB minus OA. So in that case, what happened? OA is subtracted from OB. That means I have to take reverse of OA. Okay, so this is all about addition and subtraction of alternating quantities. Addition and subtraction of alternating quantities. Okay. Now we are going to start one very important topic. Analysis of circuits containing R, L and C. So whenever we are going to talk about alternating quantities, so these three components are very important: resistance, inductor and capacitor. R, L and C. So first of all, we will see the circuit which contains only resistance, then only inductance, and then only capacitance. Okay, then after we will see the combination of this element RL, LC and RLC. Okay, either in series or in parallel. Okay, so case number 1, AC circuit containing resistance only. Means if only resistance is connected in the circuit, and if you are giving the AC supply into this circuit, then what will be the relation in between voltage and current? What will be the power in this case? Okay, that is what will be very important, and we have to learn about this. So let us see it. So you can see the circuit diagram in which we have only one resistance is connected. So inductor and capacitor is absent. L and C both are not present. Okay, only one resistance is connected, and I'm going to apply the alternating supply at the input, that is V is equal to Vm sine omega t. So when this alternating voltage is applied across pure resistance, then free electrons means current is going to be flow in the one direction passing through this resistance, right? So what happened for the first half cycle, when it is passing through the one direction for the first half cycle of the supply, and then flow in the opposite direction during the next half cycle, and that's why the current flow is taken place in this circuit diagram. Okay, let us take the resistance which is R ohm. So as a result of this voltage, you can say an alternating current will flow in the circuit, and this applied voltage has to overcome the voltage drop in the resistance, whatever the drop occurs across this resistance. Okay, so that is equal to VR. So let apply voltage I'm taking is V is equal to Vm sine theta or Vm sine omega t. R is my ohmic resistance, and I is the instantaneous value of current. This I is instantaneous value of current. So obviously the applied voltage has to supply ohmic voltage drop only, because there is no other element is connected, L and C. So whatever drop take voltage drop take place across this R, that is only the supply voltage has to overcome, and hence instantaneous value of voltage can be given by V is equal to I into R, right? Because this supply voltage has to overcome the ohmic voltage drop, and that's why I can write V is equal to I into R. Value of V is Vm sine omega t. So you can put V is equal to Vm sine theta or Vm sine omega t. So putting the value of V from this equation, V is equal to IR can be written as Vm sine omega t is equal to IR. Okay, so I have to identify the relation in between voltage and current. Is there any phase shift, or is there any leading or lagging relation is there or not? So already I know the voltage equation, V equal to Vm sine theta or sine omega t, right? So from this I can have the value of current. I is equal to Vm by R, because you just take R over here. So I am getting I is equal to Vm upon R into sine omega t. Vm upon R into sine omega t. Okay. Now this Vm by R is what? V upon R is what? V upon R is current. And as the value of voltage is maximum over here, so current I'm getting is also maximum. So Vm by R can be replaced by Im. This Vm by R can be replaced as Im. So I can write Im is equal to Vm by R. So my final equation of current is what? I is equal to Im sine omega t. I is equal to Im sine omega t. Now compare voltage and current. I is equal to Im sine omega t, and we have V is equal to Vm sine omega t. I is equal to Im sine omega t and V is equal to Vm sine omega t. Is there any phase shift in between these two? Here you can see omega t plus 0 is given, right? And here also omega t plus 0 is given. That means we have a very important conclusion over here, that if only resistance is connected in the circuit, if only resistance or pure resistance is connected in the circuit, at that time voltage and current both are in phase. There is no leading or lagging relationship, or there is no phase shift in between voltage and current. So you can see the waveform. This outer one is my voltage waveform, Vm sine omega t, and this dotted line is the current waveform, that is Im sine omega t. Magnitude is different, means peak value of voltage and current is different, but the instant at which it is getting, that is same. Okay, the instant at which it will attain the maximum value, the instant at which it will cross the zero value, again reach the zero value, all are same. Why this magnitude is different, peak value is different? That is depending on the magnitude of this resistance. If you increase the value of resistance, we know the current value is going to be reduced. Okay, so that is not the issue. But if we talk about phase shift is zero. Phase shift is zero. So there is no phase angle in between voltage and current if circuit contains pure resistance. Remember this. What about power for the resistive circuit? So power is instantaneous power, small p is given by small v into small I, v into I. V is Vm sine omega t and I is Im sine omega t. So Vm into Im into sine square omega t. Can we write like this? Vm Im sine square omega t. Okay, further, the sine square can be written as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Agree? 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. Now, just give this 2 into this separate term. So 1 by 2 minus cos 2 omega t by 2 and multiply both the term with this Vm Im. So I'm getting Vm Im by 2 minus Vm Im by 2 into cos 2 omega t. So if you carefully observe this equation, here we have two parts. One is constant because maximum value of voltage and maximum value of current is going to be constant, and there is no frequency dependent term in the first part. Okay, in this part you can see there is no any omega term, so this is constant. But second one is time varying or frequency dependent, and that frequency is double than the supply voltage. See, this is 2 omega t and supply is having only frequency is omega t. So this power consists two parts, constant part Vm by 2 and the fluctuating part Vm by 2 into cos 2 omega t. And since power is a scalar quantity, the average power over complete cycle is to be considered. So how we can find the average value of anything? Already we have seen this type of equation. 1 upon 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi this small p into dt. But small p is having this two component. First component is Vm Im by 2 into d omega t and the second one is Vm by 2 into cos 2 omega t into d omega t. All of you remember this equation? Average value of voltage or current. Suppose I am writing for V average. Okay. V average. Then it is 1 upon 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi, or you can write t 1 upon t integration 0 to t. If V is there, then you can write instantaneous value of voltage into dt. If I is there, then I average, then you can write small I. If P is there, then you can write small p. That's it. Okay, so P is equal to the power consumed, that is P is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi Vm upon 2 d omega t plus 1 upon 2 pi into integration 0 to 2 pi Vm by 2 into cos 2 omega t into d omega t. Now, see, this is constant Vm by 2, and integration of d omega t is, sorry, integration of 1 is what? D omega t. Integration of 1 is d omega t, and the limit is 2 pi. Limit is 2 pi. So for the first term, I'm getting like this: Vm Im upon 2 is constant, and d omega t, this is the integration, and the limit is 0 to 2 pi. And if you see, already we have 1 upon 2 pi is there. 1 upon 2 pi. So what I can write over here, 2 pi minus 0. If you apply the limit in this case, then it will be 2 pi minus 0. So only 2 pi. So yes, I can write into 2 pi. So this 2 pi will be cancelled out. So the remaining term is only Vm by 2. And here, as we are considering the full cycle, and this is frequency dependent symmetrical term, so overall average output is of this term is 0. Average is 0. So I am having the average power is Vm by 2, that is separated like this: Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. Vm by root 2 is what? Vrms, and Im by root 2 is the RMS value of the current. So this is my final output of power when circuit contains only resistance. So if you want to draw the waveform, you can draw like this: power curve for resistive circuit. It is the multiplication of these two waveform, right? V and I, voltage into current. So power curve for the resistive circuit, it is clear that power is always positive except at the point A, B and C. Why? Because here both are 0. Otherwise, either V and I is positive or both are negative at the same time. So every time I'm getting the positive power, and that's why if all positive cycles are there, I will get the average, and that average is what? VMIM by 2. That is what we have found out like this. This means that the voltage source is constantly delivering power to the circuit which is consumed by circuit. Voltage source is constantly delivering power. Okay, and this is nothing but this average power. But it is only possible in case of resistive circuit. Now, if instead of resistive circuit, if inductance is connected, then what happens? Instead of resistive circuit, if inductance is connected into this, then what happens? Okay. So you can see in the circuit diagram, instead of, I'm just removing the resistance and connected the inductance. Before going to start the inductive circuit, uh, here as you can see from this that there is no phase shift in between voltage and current. There is no phase shift in between voltage and current. We can draw both the vectors in parallel. We can draw both the vectors in parallel. Okay, that is VR in parallel with IR, because and the length of I is slightly slightly smaller than the VR, because as I told you, due to the presence of resistance, the magnitude of current is reduced, and the length of phasor is nothing but the amplitude, right? But both are parallel. That means there is no phase shift in between these two. Okay. Second case is AC circuit containing inductance only. AC circuit containing inductance only. So whenever the alternating voltage is applied, whenever alternating voltage is applied to the purely inductive coil like this, now resistance not present and capacitor is not present, the back EMF is produced due to self-inductance of the coil. Back EMF is produced due to self-inductance of the coil. If you remember the generation theory, generation of alternating voltage, okay, in that we have discussed that whenever this current is passing through the coil, this inductor is nothing but the coil which is having number of turns. Okay, due to electromagnetic induction, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the self-induced DMF is produced over here. Okay, or we can say the back EMF is produced due to self-inductance of the coil. That back EMF at every step opposes the rise or fall of current through the coil. And as there is no ohmic voltage drop because resistance is not present, so applied voltage has to overcome this self-induced EMF only. So that we can write like this, that at every step V is equal to L into di by dt. I hope that all of you know about this equation. In case of inductor, L is the self-inductance, L into di by dt, rate of change of current. So V is equal to L into di by dt, and this our applied voltage has to overcome this EMF. Okay, but we know the applied voltage V is nothing but Vm sine omega t. Applied voltage is Vm sine omega t. Okay, so you can just put Vm sine omega t over here. So I'm getting Vm sine omega t is equal to L into di by dt. What we have to find? current. Why? Because voltage I already have, V is equal to Vm sin omega t. If I have the value equation of current, I can find the relation in between voltage and current, whether any phase shift is there or not. So can I find the current? Yes, I have di. Okay, so just take di on one side. So di is equal to this L over here. So Vm by L sin omega t into dt. So di is equal to Vm by L into sin omega t into dt. Now I don't want di, I want I. So what I have to do? Take the integration on both the sides. So integrate integrate this di and integrate the Vm by L into sin omega t dt. So integration of di is nothing but I is equal to Vm by L constant integration of sin omega t into dt. What is integration of sine? Integration of sine is minus cos. Integration of sine is minus cos omega t. But if you see, the integration is with respect to dt only. So what I'm getting, final output is cos minus cos cos omega t divided by, I have to write the omega, because integration is not with respect to d omega t, it is only with respect to dt. Okay. So Vm upon omega L into minus cos omega t. Vm upon omega L into minus cos omega t. Okay. But I have to compare my current with the voltage so that I can come to know whether any phase shift is there or not. And for that, both the equation voltage and current must be in the same form. But here you can see voltage is in the sine form and current is we are getting in the cosine form. Okay, so convert this cosine into sine. So I can write it like this: Vm by omega L as it is into sine omega t minus pi by 2. Sine omega t minus pi by 2. Vm by omega L is nothing but maximum value of current, because this omega L is given by XL, inductive reactance. Omega L is given by XL, inductive reactance. Or you can also write XL is, omega L is what? 2 pi f. Omega is 2 pi f into L as it is. Already it is there over here. So this Vm by XL is nothing but maximum value. So my current is I is equal to Im sine omega t minus pi by 2. Im sine omega t minus pi by 2. What it means? Compare it with your voltage. V is equal to Vm sine omega t. So what is the conclusion? Current is lagging because of minus sign by angle pi by 2 with respect to voltage. So phase angle is 90 degree and it is lagging, and this is the very important conclusion, that is pure inductance current lags the voltage by 90 degree, right? So if you want to draw the phasor, the waveform, so you can draw like this. as it is our reference. So I can draw the voltage, and then at 90 degree you can see once the voltage is crossing the zero, then after at 90 degree the current is going to be crossed at 0 point. That means the instant at which they are getting same point is not same. Means instant at which they are uh, reaching at the zero is not same, but there is 90-degree delay in between these 2 points, and your current is behind the voltage by 90 degree. Current is behind, or we can say current is lagging by 90 degree with respect to voltage. But in case of in the previous case, when only resistance is connected, at that time what happened? Both are in phase, but here it is 90-degree lagging. Now inductive reactance. Okay, so 90-degree lagging is there. That means I can draw the vector like this. If voltage is the reference, then current is lagging by 90 degree. This is my Vm, and this is Im. The angle is 90, and it is lagging. If you rotate it in anti-clockwise direction, you can come to know. So this is the vector diagram. The same thing you can see over here. The inductance inductive reactance. Inductance not only causes the current to lag behind the voltage, but it also limits the magnitude of current, because here you can see it is clearly mentioned that it is going to be opposed. Okay, the back EMF at every step going to oppose the rise or fall of current through the coil, and that's why we can say it is going to be limit the magnitude of current in the circuit. So Im is equal to Vm by omega L. Omega L you can write XL also. So say V upon I is what? Generally we are writing R if R is present. But right now R is not present in the circuit. That means inductive reactance XL or omega L can be written like Vm by Im. So opposition offered by the inductance to the current flow is omega L. In this quantity, omega L is called inductive reactance XL. It has the same dimensions as resistance, and that's why the unit of XL is ohm. So unit of R and unit of XL both are in ohm. Both are in ohm. Here omega L is just replaced by XL. If you just replace this omega L with the XL, so you will get like this, that Im is equal to Vm by XL, and Im by root 2 is equal to Vm by root 2, means we are converting the value into the RMS. Okay, and XL is equal to 2 pi FL. So it depends this XL, this is a reactance term depending on the frequency. From this we can say this reactive terms depending on frequency. Resistance is not depending on frequency. This is not depending on frequency, but XL is depending on frequency. Okay, what about the power in case of inductive circuit? Power in case of inductive circuit. So you can write instantaneous power is equal to P is equal to V into I. P is equal to V into I. V is Vm sin omega t, and I already we obtained Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. Sin omega t minus pi by 2 can be written as minus cos omega t. Okay, so finally I have Vm into Im sin omega t into cos omega t. Now if you just multiply and divide this equation by 2, multiply and divide. So 2 sin omega t into cos omega t. 2 sin into cos is what? This is one mathematical relation. If you have 2 sin into cos, you can write sin 2 omega t. So I have the equation which is minus Vm Im by 2 into sin 2 omega t minus Vm Im by 2 into sin 2 omega t. So only one term in the power, which is also frequency dependent. The frequency is double than the input. If you take average of this, means if you are taking the average over one cycle, okay, then as it contains sine term, and we know the average over one complete cycle for sinusoidal or cosinusoidal waveform is 0. So I'm getting average power, that is 1 upon 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi minus Vm Im by 2 into sin 2 omega t omega t is nothing but 0. So again we have the second important conclusion, that total power absorbed in the pure inductance is 0. On the other hand, the total power absorbed in case of pure resistance is Vm Im by 2. Okay, Vm Im by 2, but that will be 0 in case of pure inductance. So anyone, any doubt up to this? I think this is revision only, because all of you have studied about this type of concept in 12th. I'm not sure, but I think it was there. So let us see the power curve for the inductive circuit. Now, as the voltage and current is having the 90-degree delay, so what happened? Up to 90-degree, you can see when voltage is positive, at that time the current is negative. That means the overall power I'm getting in the negative side, right? Then once the current is crossing the 0 point, at that time voltage and current both will be positive. So the next half I'm getting is on positive side. Then after, current will be in positive. Okay, but you can see voltage is negative. So again I'm getting the negative half for the power, and then current and voltage both are in negative. So again I'm getting the power in positive side. One more thing, if you see, for one complete cycle of the voltage, I'm getting two complete cycle of the power. One from 0 to pi, you can see the shaded one, 0 to pi, one complete cycle, and then pi to 2 pi, second complete cycle for the power. So can we say that it is double frequency signal? Definitely. That already we have seen in this equation also, that power is having the frequency double than the supply. So during first 90 degree of cycle, voltage is positive and current is negative. Therefore, power supply is negative, and this means power is flowing from the coil to the source. Negative means what? Coil is supplying power to the source. During next 90 degree of cycle, voltage and current are positive and power supplied is positive because both are positive now, and therefore power flow from source to the coil, right? But as one positive and one negative cycle is there, the total useful power will be zero. Now remove the resistance, remove the inductance, right? And I'm going to connect pure capacitance into this. Then what happens? If any circuit which is containing only capacitance, in that case, what happens? Okay. So now I'm removing the inductance and connect the capacitance into the circuit, and again going to apply the AC supply. V is equal to Vm sine omega t. So when alternating voltage is applied across the plates of capacitor, the capacitor is charged in one direction and then in the other, right? Because capacitor is storing the energy in terms of electrical form. Inductor is also storing the energy, but that is in terms of magnetic form. So the result is that electrons move to and from around the circuit, connecting the plates, thus constituting the alternating current. Now consider an alternating voltage applied to the capacitor of capacitance C, shown in figure like this. So my supply voltage is Vm sine omega t, Vm sine omega t. Okay, you can see Vm sine omega t. And what about current? So is there any relation in between current and capacitor? Definitely we know this. Q is equal to C into V. Charge on the capacitor is given by Q equal to C into V. V is equal to Vm sine omega t, that is we know. But I want relation in between current and voltage, right? So I can write current in terms of charge. I is equal to rate of change of charge, dq by dt. dq by dt. So d by dt of C Vm sine omega t. Instead of q, I can write this C Vm sine omega t. Capacitor value is constant, Vm is constant, and d by dt of sine omega t is what? Cos omega t. So I can have omega C Vm into cos omega t. Why omega is multiplied? Because the differentiation is only with respect to dt, but not with respect to d omega t. Now convert the equation into the sine form because I have to compare it with the voltage. So you can write cos omega t is nothing but omega t plus pi by 2. Okay, sine omega t plus pi by 2. So my current is I is equal to omega c Vm sine omega t plus pi by 2. this is Im. So my current equation is I equal to Im sine omega t plus pi by 2. I is equal to Im sine omega t plus pi by 2. So what is the relation in between current and voltage? V is equal to Vm sine omega t, I is equal to Im sine omega t plus pi by 2. So I can say current is leading, current is leading by an angle pi by 2 with respect to voltage. Okay, so you can say current is leading by an angle pi by 2 with respect to voltage. So already current is at the 90 degree, and then at that time the voltage is going to be cross this point, 0 point. So in pure capacitance, current leads the voltage by 90 degree. Current leads the voltage by 90 degree. Just like inductor, here we have capacitive reactance, that omega c, because we are getting Im is equal to omega c into Vm. Im is equal to omega c into Vm. So capacitance not only causes the voltage to lag behind current, but again, just like inductive reactance, it is also going to be limit the magnitude of current. Okay. So Im is omega c into Vm. So Vm upon Im is what? 1 upon omega c. 1 upon omega c is known as capacitive reactance, Xc. 1 upon omega c is equal to Xc, capacitive reactance. Okay. See, 1 upon omega c is equal to Xc. Again, omega you can replace by 2 pi f. 2 pi f. So what it means? This is also depending on frequency, and the unit of Xc is in ohm. Unit of Xc is in ohm. Now I think we have to keep up to this. Next time we will see the power in capacitive circuit, right? Then we will start the combination of this, that is RL series, RC series, RLC series. Okay. So what we have completed in today's session, we have started with the subtraction of phasor or subtraction of alternating quantities, and then we have started this new topic, that is analysis of circuit containing R, L and C. In that we have seen three different cases. Circuit containing only resistance. So in that we have seen that what is the relation in between voltage and current, what is the power in this case. Okay. Similarly, the same thing we have seen in case of the circuit containing inductance only and circuit containing resistance. Now, if you have any doubt regarding today's session, you can ask your query into the chat box. Do not leave the session. I will give you the attendance link. Everyone, you can find the Google form link into the chat box. Please submit your response. Those who have submitted, they can leave. Okay, everyone, thank you for attending this session. I'm going to end the meeting now.